After recording an interview video with Landon Caitler, I was inspired to take his regional winning Miraidon deck out to my local league challenge at Kansan Games, where there was 47 people here to play, so quite a competition. I really enjoyed playing his deck, recorded some really interesting games, and I'm really excited to be posting this on YouTube. So without further ado, let's just get right into the gameplay. In round one of the challenge, we're up against James. He's going to be playing Charizard, and of course, we're playing Miraidon. We win the coin flip and we call first, which I wasn't completely sure about, but Landon told me this is a going first deck, and who am I to disagree with the champ, so we decide to go first here. Now, when James starts Radzard, I tend to think that the strength of his hand is going to be a little weaker, right? He doesn't have any Charmanders, he doesn't have any Pidgeys, he pretty much doesn't have any basic Pokemon in his hand, or else he would have started almost any of them over this Radzard, so hopefully he just draw passes, but, you know, for the sake of the video, hopefully he has a good turn one here, but we're just going to kick our turn off with the tandem unit, getting down the Iron Hands. Generally, this is going to be how we want to take our first two prizes in this matchup. There might not be a Rotom for us to knock out, so we don't want to power up a Raikou and then not have a way to take two. First three cards on this generator end up being Lightning Energies. You'll notice we Nest Ball for the Squawk before the generator, just taking as many cards that aren't Lightning Energies out of our deck before we hit the Jenny. We also definitely should have played this Ultra Ball before the Jenny, boosted our odds a little higher. I'm not sure why I didn't. I think maybe I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to Ultra Ball for, and maybe if I whiff the Jenny, I end up taking a different card than the Latias here. Maybe I take... no, I think I just am taking the Latias no matter what, so should have Ultra Balled there first. Now we just get to retreat into the Raikou. We know our Charizard opponent can't attack on turn one, so we're going to be able to just draw a free card there with the Raikou and have a pretty good turn one. Of course, we have this full Iron Hand set up on the bench. Now this Radzard actually does get a little bit annoying for us. We can't take two prizes on it, right? Ampy very much doesn't do enough damage, and anything else would just take one, and taking one prize card with this deck in just about any matchup is going to be a disaster, so we're going to need a Boss's Orders, maybe an Iron Bundle on our next turn in order to take two, but we see James getting a decent setup here. He's got a Charmander, he's got a Pidgey, looks like he's got a Duskull in hand, so decent turn one from James. We do currently only see one Charmander on the board. Now I wonder, maybe instead of getting this Pidgey, maybe just getting a double Charmander would be a little bit stronger, as I don't think Pidgeot is great to set up in this matchup anyways, just because, you know, Raikou can always knock out the Pidgeot for a couple free prizes. I think as a Charizard player, the way you want to play this one is just play a super minimal board and force your opponent to knock out as many Charizard EX as possible, as 6 Energy Raichu is not particularly easy, and you definitely can't do it more than once. So we have the secret box here raw. That's going to be super good for us. I end up not getting a Boss's Orders with the secret box. I didn't get any supporter. I know I have a boss in hand, but I think the idea here was that I have Mew EX in hand, and I was going to play down this area 0 and go 8 bench and draw more cards with Mew, but as you can tell, I don't have Pikachu EX on my bench, and I think I realized it just around now that I actually can't bench a Pokemon because I don't have a Terra Pokemon in play. So instead, we end up with no extra Boss's Orders in hand, which is a little bit of a punt, and we just attach an energy, play this generator, double hit the Jenny, and I think that's going to be the end of our turn. We're just going to amp this Charmander. Definitely feeling good about our position in this game, getting rid of the only Charmander here, but we're not completely out of the woods, right? James could Thornton out that Charmander, Rare Candy into a Zard, and keep the pace of the game going, so this definitely is good, but not quite over. James does decide to Ultra Ball for the Pidgeot here. I like this. It looks like he needed to find Rare Candy, so Ultra Ball for the Pidgeot, thin out a card, make it more likely that you draw your rare candy there. He ends up not finding it, so he's just going to have to Seal Stone for the rare candy. That's okay too, but of course would have been nicer to Seal Stone for something else. Looks like his hand is pretty weak here. He's not going to be able to pull off the Thornton play, which maybe isn't too unlucky. It's going to be pretty hard to Candy Pidgey, Charizard, Thornton on turn 2, but looks like he's just going to decide to take this turn, Pidgeot for maybe something for next turn, maybe get like a rare candy or a Charizard. He's just going to go ahead and get Arven, it looks like. I mean, maybe he's going to Arven for the rare candy for next turn, and then I think he's just going to go ahead and pass it off to me. Yep, he's just going to retreat into the Duskull. I think the Radiant Charizard would have been a better Pokemon to promote here. Like I mentioned before, I can't actually take 2 prizes on the Radiant Charizard, and because I didn't Secret Box for that extra boss's orders last turn, I'm pretty sure I actually didn't have a Gusting Effect in hand now. Maybe I had access to Iron Bundle, which would have been just as good, but definitely a little bit of a missed opportunity there, not bringing in that Radzard. Now we go up 6-2 with plenty of energies on the board, and we're feeling pretty good. Still haven't used that for a Seal Stone, so James is definitely going to need to kill that Raikou. Otherwise, I'm just going to Seal Stone for boss, and that's going to be the game. But if James was to play maybe like an Iono here, or a Roxanne, an Unfair Stamp, and knock out that Raikou, I could definitely be in some trouble. I have no Mew EX on my board. I have no Fezandipity EX on my board. Really just no draw power. So this game definitely could have been losable if the Raikou with the Seal Stone went down and a hand disruption card was played. But in the spot, I think I actually forget that I still have my Seal Stone up. So I'm trying to find the boss's orders here. And at some point, I just realize I'm being dumb and I can just go ahead and Seal Stone for the boss's orders, take out another 2 prize Pokemon, and close out the game. Oh, okay, yep, I guess this works too. A little bit of a cooler way to win, I guess. Get that big Raichu attack off, sacrifice the Magneton, and we're going to take out that Charizard and start out 1-0 in this League Challenge. Going into the second round, we're up against a very familiar face. Anyone in the Pokemon GTA community knows Adam Kalamat. He's a beast, always crushing local challenges and League Cups. I have no idea how many Cup wins he has, but I think it might be something like 10 Cup wins. And he always plays slow Gardevoir, so he's not a fan of the Henry Chow Rare Candy Fez build. He's got the TM Evos in there. He's got the Double Monkey, Double Dark. And he's got this Fluttermane, which is going to be very annoying for my Latias EX opener, as Latias has a 2 retreat cost, and the Fluttermane is currently shutting down its own ability. So we're going to need to find a boss's orders, an Iron Bundle, maybe a rescue board, and an attachment. That sounds pretty bad. So hopefully Iron Bundle is probably going to be our preferred way to get this Latias out of the active. We don't really want to kill this Fluttermane anyways. And once again, we open up with the Secret Box, this time just raw. No need to Arven for it. Gonna go ahead and get a pretty comprehensive setup here. Gonna get the Pikachu down, probably another Miraidon. And you can really just see how many cards I'm thinning out of the deck here before this first generator, right? We got 4 cards with the Secret Box, and then we Nestballed for a Miraidon, so that's 5. And then our Miraidon got us 4 more Pokemon, so that's 9. So instead of generating on like I guess it would have been a 46 card deck, we end up generating on like a 37 card deck. And when you have 14 lightning energies in your 37 card deck, you're feeling pretty good about hitting your Jennies here. So looks like, I'm even going to Seal Stone, Nestball the Squawk, thin out even more cards. Now, I actually think this is a mistake. I'm not entirely sure. I think I should have just Seal Stone for the Squawkabilly straight up. I wanted to maximize my odds of hitting the Jenny, so I Seal Stone for the Nestball. Right, takes an extra card out of the deck, boosts the odds of hitting Lightnings. But I think Nestball is just such a good card first setup beyond the energies, right? Getting down Mew EX, Fezandipity, maybe Iron Bundle, like I mentioned before. And I end up thinning out that Nest Ball from the deck. So I think a slight mistake here. And then I end up only single hitting the generator anyways. So we're just going to get a second energy on it by attaching return. And we're going to pass over the turn to Adam here, who is going to have pretty much the best turn one I think he could have. He's going to pop out these rolls. You see that Arvin on the top of his hand. Yep, that's going to go ahead and get Nest Ball TM Evo. I guess he's got plenty of energies in hand to hit that Greninja Fluttermane. Yep, we see the Vessel here. Even discarding a Psychic, getting 2 more. That's going to be 1 for the Radiant Greninja, 1 for the Evo. 2 Curlias are going to be coming down, and really a great turn from Adam. Because Adam doesn't play the rare candies, if he were to whiff this turn 1 TM Evo, I think the game would almost be over on the spot, just because I would use Iron Hands to amp, and then he would be unable to make a Gardevoir EX. So it's one of the reasons I really do prefer the rare candy build, but Adam here, not going to get punished. Going to just go ahead, Ultra Ball for another Ralts and do that TM Evo now. This Ultra Ball for the Ralts was really significant to me. Adam's got 3 cards in hand, and I felt like this Ralts was pretty unnecessary and like not really doing that much for him. And I really just thought that he would need to save that Ultra Ball to get Gardevoir EX on the next turn, right? So I think the only reason it makes sense for him to Ultra Ball for this Ralts is he already has a bunch of draw power in hand. Maybe he has another Ultra Ball. Maybe he has a Research. Maybe he just has the Gardevoir EX in hand. Maybe he even has another Curlia in hand. So I'm really just assuming Adam has a really strong hand here. And of course, I'm going to be going for the Ampu very much. And then I'm going to assume that my Iron Hands is going to be immediately dying to a Drifloon. It's got a couple energies in the discard, and I assume he has another way to find that Gardevoir EX. So definitely going to be looking up to power up a second Hands for when that happens. Pretty much our plan in this matchup is going to be to, of course, use Hands here. And it looks like we have to use the Magneton to do it, but I think that's completely okay. We can get some energies on the second Hands. So that's going to get us 4 prizes. And then our last 2 prize cards are either going to have to come from a Raichu knockout on the Gardevoir EX, or potentially we could Night Stretcher the Iron Hands and amp like another small guy for the last 2. But it's going to be a little bit difficult to do. We've already used our Magneton. We'll have to see how it plays out. But Adam here, having a very strong turn, refinementing away a couple energy, getting that third Curlia down, like I mentioned, he might have. Looks like he's got that Gardevoir EX too, which I also assumed he would have. Now the question here is, does he have the Drifloon KO? I think because Adam is playing this slower build of Gardevoir, he might only play 1 Bravery Charm. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it's just 1 Bravery Charm. He's going to get that Drifloon down. He's got the Bravery Charm in hand, and he's actually going to Arvin, and he gets Unfair Stamp here, which I actually forgot about. I've been so focused on this Henry Chow Secret Box build that I kind of forgot Unfair Stamp was a card here. So when he Unfair Stamps me and I don't have a Mew EX, I don't have a Fezandipity down, I'm definitely feeling a little nervous. It's very possible that I just kind of end up like draw passing here. I hit 2 Lightning Energies, and pretty much anything other than an Ampy very much on this turn is going to be a disaster for me. This Miraidon deck really needs to take 2 prizes every turn, right? There's no comeback mechanics in the deck, and we're really just relying on going 2-2-2 to win these games. So Adam's just going to take his time here. I think he's going to prepare some Monkey Dory damage. Yes. Oh, right. Because Adam only plays this 1 Bravery Charm here, he's actually going to need to attack with Gardevoir EX and a couple Monkey Dory pings next turn if he wants to knock out that next Iron Hands. So just making sure he's prepping that damage. And I mean, I hit an Ultra Ball off of either this Fleet-Footed or this Unfair Stamp, so we're able to get down this Mew EX, which we're feeling great about, of course. And we have a generator too. Oh my gosh, we see 4 energies off that generator. I'm sure at this point our odds of hitting these generators are very good. Tons of energy in our deck, and we Mew for 3. We'd love to see Well, I was going to say Pheasantipity, but I forgot. We do need this Night Stretcher. Um, at this point, it's pretty unreasonable for me to try and plan for that Raichu two prize knockout, right? We're going to need 6 energies for that. And if our Iron Hands goes down, there's just no way that's happening. So we end up going for the second hands. We have another Jenny, double hit that one too, and another attachment from hand. Oh my gosh. A little bit of a luck sack off this unfair stamp. We end up putting 5 lightning energies into play, getting down Mew EX, and we're just going to amp this Drifloon for knockout. Now, there's a couple interesting things Adam can do here. Of course, this is where Gardevoir decks start to shine, right? He can counter catcher pretty much anything he wants. He can Scream Tail the bench. He can use Gardevoir EX, which has massive HP. Of course, the Latias is putting in some work for us, right? None of our Pokemon can be trapped. For example, Adam could go like counter catcher Pikachu EX and then like Scream Tail kill our Mew and maybe play an Iono, and then we have no draw power. We have a Pikachu stuck in the active, and we're really not loving life there, but Latias protects us from that. One play that I was really afraid of in the moment, because I know Adam plays Double Monkey Dory, Double Dark, was he could go counter catcher, bring in my Latias, and then he could put 3 energies on his Flutter Mane and Double Monkey Flutter Mane, hit the Latias for 150, and then on the next turn he could Double Monkey the Latias again, and then like maybe counter catcher Mew and kill it with Guardy. So I'm not sure if he saw the play in the moment. I don't think he did. I know his second Dark Energy was in the discard pile, so maybe he was also unable to do it, but he's just going to go ahead, knock out this Mew EX, prep some damage on the other hands, just guarantee that he can actually close out the game next turn. But by doing this, he gives me access to Pheasantipity, but more importantly here, he gives me access to Counter Catcher, and now here I'm telling him about the play, the Flutter Mane thing, because I think I just have like Arven in hand here. Yeah. So I just go a Nest Ball, I double check that my Counter Catcher is actually in the deck, and then I just go ahead, Arven for the Counter Catcher, and I can amp any of the Pokemon on his bench for game. Yeah, then I show him here. It looks like my deck at the end here is just all Boss's Orders, Raichu, Lightning Energy, Generator, just tons of way for me to win the game. My turn off that unfair stamp really, I think, just locked this game up. In a game where I definitely could have lost. And going into this game, I felt like this was somewhat of a free matchup, but after playing it, it was a little scary. In order to get triple Iron Hands out, you need 12 energies, and that's a lot. So definitely happy to get out of this round with a win against a strong player. And we're going to be 2-0 heading into round 3. In the third round of this league challenge, we run into Anj. He's going to be playing Dragapult, which heading into the match, I wasn't entirely sure if this was a good matchup or not. Of course, it's hard to deal with the Dragapults. I felt like this match maybe played out fairly similarly to the Charizard matchup, but I do like that their damage output's a little more limited, maybe allowing us to keep our attackers in play. And he ends up starting Lumineon as well, which we, of course, love to see. In the moment, he said that he thought this was like pretty much game over, starting Lumineon against Miraidon, but I don't think it's actually that bad. If I amp this Lumineon, it doesn't really do that much for me. Of course, as Miraidon, I'm trying to play a 2/2/2 prize map, so the third prize card doesn't really accomplish anything. It does, however, allow me to take 2 prizes with a Raikou, which is a lot easier than getting 4 energies on an Iron Hands here. So he's going to go ahead, Buddy Poffin, get some Dreepies out. You might have seen that rescue board in his hand. It's going to be very nice for him to get this Lumineon out of the active, just sacrifice a Dreepy, and then he's also going to have a Fire Energy to attach for turn, and that's going to be all. So relatively slow turn 1, but potentially that's everything he needs when he's playing Dragapult. He doesn't need too much. Next turn, he can always Rare Candy out his Dragapult, maybe use the Sparkling Crystal if he needs to, and hopefully he'll be attacking on turn 2. But heading on over to me, we're just going to start off with the tandem unit here. We're probably going to be setting up Iron Hands. Looks like, I imagine I'm going to go for double Miraidon here. I don't see why I wouldn't. Yep, just going to thin out more cards from the deck. The only reason not to go like double Miraidon on turn 1 is if you don't have access to the area 0. And of course, I opened Raw Secret Box, so I'm definitely going to have that area 0. Going to be able to make a massive bench here, thin out a ton of cards from my deck. I think, again, maybe this is like 8 or 9 cards coming out of my deck turn 1. Maybe actually even more from this Arven, but really just getting some crazy odds on these generators. I wish I showed myself just flicking through the deck in this moment, because I'm sure there are a ton of lightning energies. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this generator now. Interesting choice here. I don't opt to use Sealstone first. I could have potentially used my oh my gosh, 4 energies. I could have potentially used my 4 Sealstone here before the generators. Just boosted my odds a little bit. Maybe I could have 4 Sealstone for double turbo, or yeah, probably double turbo would have made a lot of sense here, but I just opt to save the Sealstone. And now, I guess when I hit this many energies on the Jenny, it's kind of nice. I just get to save my Sealstone. So maybe that's what I was thinking in the moment. If I triple hit my 2 Jennies, just attach the 4th Lightning and then save the Sealstone. I'm not entirely sure I love this, to be honest. I might have liked to just flip the Sealstone here. This Raikou has 200 HP, very vulnerable to Dragapult's attack. And yes, it is nice to save this V-Star power, but if my Raikou gets knocked out, then I never get to use it at all. So I definitely understand what my thought process was in the moment, but I'm not entirely sure that it was actually correct. I'm going to bench this Iron Bundle here, and I spend a decent amount of time thinking about whether or not I should use this bundle, but I ultimately decided that if I pop this bundle, Anj would just send up his Lumineon, and yes, I would get to amp it for 3, but what does that actually accomplish for me? Not much. I think it's likely that Anj is just going to turn these Dreepies into Dragapults and never bench anything else for the rest of the game, so I'm going to have to go through the same amount of Pokemon anyways. I just decide to save the bundle. Next turn, I'll be able to haul in the Lumineon or whatever else he benches. It won't be a 320 HP Dragapult EX on the bench, so just going to keep that bundle for now. And something else you guys may have noticed by now is that I don't have a Magnemite on my bench. I figured if I ever bench the Magnemite, it's just kind of a free knockout for the Dragapult EX. But I think at some point I probably should have just benched the Magneton, forced him to knock it out, right? Now here he gets an opportunity to build up some damage counters on my board, maybe set up for some cool plays, whereas if I bench the Magnemite, he's kind of got to knock that out, and then a 1 prize card doesn't really do anything for him. Just pop my bundle, have all 2 prize Pokemon, and maybe he'll even let me use Counter Catcher. So he's just going to decide to put 3 damage counter on the Iron Hands and 1 on the Pikachu, 2 on the Miraidon, just setting up a bunch of Pokemon for the knockout. When I see Anj not just put 6 damage counters on the Iron Hands, I am a little bit afraid of a Lost Vacuum. In the moment, I wasn't entirely sure whether these Dragapult decks typically play Lost Vacuum, but it was definitely a possibility. Bravery Charms are annoying. Maybe there's some annoying stadiums, like Jamming Tower, for example, could be annoying for the Crystal. So definitely wouldn't be crazy to see a Lost Vacuum. End up heavy balling for this Raichu. I think I played heavy ball on turn 1 for something else, so definitely good that I was able to get that heavy ball back. Of course, it looks like I'm gonna need to one-shot this Dragapult with Raichu at the end of the game. We're gonna pop bundle, bring in the Lumineon. We're gonna bench the Raichu. And now here, I think I'm just debating where I should attach my energy for turn. I'm a little bit nervous to put this energy on the Raichu, as if Anj just doesn't bench any Pokemon and knocks out this Raichu V. It's going to be a little awkward for me to get the knockout. I think my logic was that if I don't attach to the Raichu V, he could just knock out like my Fezandipity or my Mew EX, and that would be really annoying. Or maybe my Iron Hands with the Vacuum, that would also be very annoying. So I just end up putting the energy on the Raichu, kind of diversifying my threats. And then I do amp here instead of arm press. I think that actually might have been a mistake. Like I've been saying this whole segment, this puts me on odd prizes and just doesn't really do anything for me. The only thing I think this does is make me draw one less card off of a potential Iono. So I guess this maybe stops Anch from benching any one prize Pokemon here, just because I could obviously knock them out very easily. For example, like, yeah, no, I think it's just bad. I think I should have just arm pressed the Lumineon here, stayed on even prizes, drawn an extra card off of Iono. We end up not getting punished. Anch goes for the Roxanne. Maybe I had like good cards in my prizes that I wanted to pull out. I'm not entirely sure, but not going to get punished. Going to get to draw 2 cards regardless because of this Roxanne. And Anch also benches the Fezandipity, which gives us a little bit of a free Pokemon to knock out. It's not that free, right? We don't actually have like Raikou or Miraidon powered up, so we're still going to need a Lightning Energy with the Raichu in order to knock out the Fezandipity regardless. Anch was looking for Counter Catcher off this Roxanne, I believe. He told me after the match he actually does play Lost Vacuum, but it was prized, so we got a little lucky here. I think if Anch Lost Vacuums this Bravery Charm, it knocks out the Iron Hands, and goes down to 2 prizes, we'd be put in a fairly rough spot. With only 1 Lightning Energy in play, it's pretty unlikely that I'd be able to get 5 Lightnings in play to Raichu for games. So, would likely, I don't even know. I think I would probably just lose the game, honestly, if he had the Lost Vacuum here. But we get a little lucky. No Lost Vacuum. And I think he's actually just going to punch for 200 here. And all I need is a Lightning Energy to win the game. We've got access to Mew EX. No Fezandipity because nothing's going to be knocked out here. But then we have the Latias for the free retreat. We can get out into the Raichu. Anch is just going to take the time here to thin his deck. Just in case I maybe whiff the Lightning Energy and I do something weird. Maybe I like counter catcher the Fez and pass or something. Just wants to make sure that he is 100% able to win the game on the next turn if I whiff. And I end up just flipping my top deck face up as I draw it, and it ends up being a Lightning Energy, so pretty cool there. We're going to get the 6 energy Raichu, and we're going to knock out that Dragapult for game. He shows me the counter catcher. It's a little bit out of frame, but the Lost Vacuum was the bottom card of the prize cards there. So going to walk out of this one with another win, and we're going to head into round 4 at 3-0. Now, in round 4, we run into our good friend Noah Donnan. He's going to be playing Charizard. I'm going to be posting another video of a game Noah and I played before this league challenge. We played a game for fun, and it was really interesting. So be sure to check that out if you're curious on how this Miraidon Charizard matchup plays out, because I think a lot of people don't give Miraidon enough credit in this matchup. Yes, Charizard EX is really annoying to knock out. But this game often follows a similar pattern as the game we just played against Anch there, where you just use Iron Hands. Maybe you use like Raikou or Miraidon to knock out something like a Rotom V, a Squawkabilly EX, right? A Lumineon V. And then if you get enough energies in play off your generators, if you use the Magneton, you're often able to just go for a big Raichu play at the end, and you're just going to go 2-2-2, and you're always going to get to attack first. So generally, I think this matchup is actually pretty okay. We're going to, looks like, get a pretty solid turn 1 board here. We get the Pikachu EX down, so we're going to have the capability of 8 bench. We're going to get 2 energies, single hit that Jenny, and we're going to squawk. Looks like a pretty solid turn 1. We just heavy ball out that Raikou. I wonder if I'll bench it or not. It might be nice to keep this. Yep, looks like I'm just going to opt to keep the bench spot open. We've already got a Raichu V, which can always use for a Seal Stone. And maybe that 5th bench spot wants to be like an Iron Bundle or a Mew EX or maybe Latias EX. So just going to not bench that Raikou for now. But I guess I wanted to heavy ball it out so that if we get Iono'd, we can just Miraidon for that Raikou at any time. And Noah, piloting his similar strategy as he did in the other videos, just going to Rotom, draw 3 and bench 2 Charmanders. Really, he's going to play a minimalist board, just like Anch did last game, right? Doesn't want to put down any extra Pidgeys or Duskulls or Charmanders. Really, just doesn't want to give me any targets for Iron Hands, and really wants to force me to make that 6 energy Raichu play, as it can be very difficult to do so. So over to me, no raw secret box this time. Just going to Arven for it, which is just as good. All right, looks like we're going to secret box away a couple energies. I would assume that means I have another energy in hand. A lot of energies in the discard. 5 energies means our Jennies might not be hitting as well as we would like. We're going to go ahead and get a Jenny here anyways. I think I have the rescue board in hand in order to retreat this Raichu. So we're not going to need to get down the Latiasi X here, which is very nice. Just going to Area 0. Yep, tandem unit before the generator, right? We just want to thin as many cards as possible out of our deck. Now there is, I think I'm debating here on whether or not to bench this Magnemite. In theory, benching the Magnemite opens up some kind of like Dusknoir the Magnemite, Briar, like 4 prize turn ideas. But in reality, if Noah benches a Duskull, I can just go ahead and amp it for 2 prizes, which I'm feeling pretty good about. So unless Noah benches double Duskull and then pulls off the crazy Candy Dusknoir Briar play, we should be good here. And it looks like he's not opting to set up a Pidgeot EX. So without Pidgeot, hoping that he can't pull off that play, we're just going to go ahead, bench the Magnemite, hopefully get some extra energies for later. And we whiff a generator here, which is really, really bad. We did Sealstone for the double turbo energy before the generator. We were just maximizing our odds. We knew we were going to get this double turbo energy regardless. So we just go ahead, Sealstone energy, and we get that amp off anyways. And we immediately get hit by Unfair Stamp Countercatcher on our Pheasantipede. All Noah needs here is to draw into an Arven, and that's going to be Sealstone, Rare Candy Charizard, and our only draw support is going to be dead. So we don't love this spot. We would be much happier with a couple Lightning Energies in play. Maybe like a Lightning Energy on the Raikou would have been really nice. That way, with like an Iron Bundle or a Boss's Orders, we would be able to take out that Rotom, and then we're threatening the Magneton plus Raichu play to knock out the Charizard and win the game on the next turn. So we're in a rough spot here. I'm pretty sure my 2 cards are really terrible, and I'm debating sending up the Raichu because it has free retreat, or the Raikou so that I could use fleet-footed. End up just sending up the Raichu because if we send up the Raikou, we fleet-foot and we don't find anything, and we have to pass with the Raikou inactive. It's a complete disaster. We immediately lose the game. So it looks like I top decked this Arven, which is nice. It's going to let me Night Stretcher back to Pheasantipede, draw some cards. But it's looking really unlikely that we're going to be able to maintain this 2-2-2 prize map, which really is the I don't know, the core strategy of this deck, right? If we're not going 2-2-2, then we don't really have any disruption options. We don't really have any 1 prize Pokemon. We don't really have any bulky Pokemon. I mean, I guess I have this Bravery Charm, so that's something. But otherwise, we're just going to be falling behind here. Would have loved to have knocked out the Rotom here with Raikou. I'm not even sure if I fezzed here into a Lightning Energy to attach for a turn, so I think we're really going to fall behind on these attachments. Just going to retreat into the Iron Hands. Maybe not. Yeah, we're just going to retreat into this hands, attach the Charm. That way, at least we're not guaranteed to be knocked out. Oh, we do have an energy to attach for turn. Yeah, it's going to go on the Raikou with ideas of maybe knocking out that Rotom or maybe 2-shotting this Charizard. And we're just going to arm press for 140 now. If Noah has Lost Vacuum here, it's really bad. If he has Countercatcher, Countercatcher doesn't work. So if he has Boss's Orders, that's really bad. If he has Luminion for Boss's Orders, that's also really bad. A lot of cards Noah can have here. And I go ahead and ask him, I say, are you taking 2 prizes this turn? And he kind of laughs and he says no. So we're feeling somewhat alive in this game. And he's playing this Poff, and he's going to bench double Pidgey. At first, I was really hyped because now I'm sitting on a Boss's Orders, so I'm able to boss up one of these Pidgeys and amp it. But I think when Noah does this, he just has Rare Candy Pidgeot in hand like 100% of the time. So if I amp one of these Pidgeys, he's going to Rare Candy a Pidgeot, and then all he needs is like Lost Vacuum, the Bravery Charm, Counter Catcher, another 2-prizer, and he's going to win the game. So we're not loving life here. We really want to KO this Charizard. A Lightning Energy would let us hard retreat into the Raikou, attach Lightning to the Raikou, and knock out the Charizard, which I think I would have done if I had a Lightning Energy in hand. But because I didn't even have a Lightning Energy in hand here, I didn't want to retreat into the Raikou and try to Fleet Foot into it. So I just go ahead, amp the Pidgey, or amp the Charmander. I'm assuming Noah has Rare Candy Pidgeot, and I just have to hope that he doesn't have any of the other pieces, right? We gotta dodge Lost Vacuum, Boss's Orders, Counter Catcher, Ultra Ball, Lumineon, Arven, just so many cards that we need him to not have, and he's just gonna, of course, have one of the pieces, quick search for the other, and he's gonna take us out here. But Noah already capped on his league challenges, gonna be a homie, and just go ahead, give me the win, help me get to my my finishes for the quarter, and we're gonna go into the next round 4-0. So shout out Noah Donnan for giving us the homie scoop there. All right, heading into round 5, we're up against Lucas. He's going to be playing Regidrago, and we lose the coin flip, and he calls first. So either just calling first because he's playing Regidrago, or a little bit knowledgeable on the matchup, knows he wants to go first. But I'm pretty happy here when he flips over an Ogerpon. Either I'm going second here against Raging Bolt, which doesn't make any sense, or I just got paired into Regidrago. So definitely like this matchup. Should be pretty favored as long as we're able to go 2-2-2. There really shouldn't be much Lucas can do to capitalize. If you watch the interview video with Landon Caitler that I posted late last week, you'll know the one thing we have to watch out for is some kind of double Kyurem play, right? Where he Kyurems 3 of my guys and then Kyurems them again and wins into attacks. So in order to dodge that, we're going to need to save our Bravery Charm. I think you'll notice a couple times throughout this game, I go to attach the Bravery Charm just to like something random, and then I go, oh my gosh, I can't do that. If I do that, I lose to double Kyurem, and I just keep saving the Bravery Charm. So, of course, Lucas here, going to have a pretty solid turn 1. He's got some energies. He's got a Squawk ability. He's going to go ahead, Squawk and Seize, draw a couple cards. The big thing he's going to be looking for here is to get maybe Cleffa in the active, or potentially Radzard. Just to make it as difficult as possible for me to take 2 prizes on turn 1, right? If I go up 2, it's going to be really hard for him to win the game, as I'm just going to go 2-2-2, and he can't beat that pace, so he'll just have to like play Ionos and hope I whiff some Boss's Orders or something. So this Ultra Ball does decide to get a second Regidrago V, and one of the cards he discarded off that Ultra Ball was actually an E-Switch, and I felt like Lucas wasn't really discarding an E-Switch here with a weak hand. I think if his hand was like really terrible, like for example, like a ton of E-Switches and resources, he wouldn't have Ultra Balled for a second Regidrago V. Maybe he just saves it for the V-Star. So I felt like his hand was pretty weighted towards like having good cards here. Definitely a draw supporter, potentially another E-Switch, potentially more energies, potentially Regidrago V-Star. So I definitely felt the pressure here to attack. Felt like I needed to take 2 here, or else he was gonna take 2 and take the lead. So we kick off our turn. Looks like we have pretty solid stuff going on. We got the Miraidon Tandem Unit. We got the Squawk ability. We do have to discard our Magneton, which I don't love. Our Night Stretcher. We'll pretty much have to get that Magneton back later, but we do hit this Jenny, which is going to be huge. As long as we can get a bunch of bench Pokemon down, we can just use the Raikou here. Like I mentioned before, no Cleffa, no Radzard, so the pressure was off on this one, and we just kind of get away with a 2 energy KO. Not sure what I'm debating in this moment. I guess we'll see when I discard. Oh, I have the Boss's Orders, right? So if I Boss's Orders and bring up the Squawk ability, then all I need is a way to retreat the Magneton, and I can get the knockout, but I opt not to. I opt to preserve the option to Arven. Right, Arven for Secret Box for like Area 0 and all that should get me there. So I decided to just discard the Boss's Orders, and of course we just draw a raw Secret Box. So this is gonna be super sweet. I do have to discard Countercatcher and another boss, it looks like. So I'm not sure exactly what's in my hand. Luminion as well. Right, we already mentioned my Night Stretcher is pretty much locked on getting back Magnemite or Magneton. So that Luminion probably gone for good. No other recovery in the deck. I'm not sure exactly what's in my hand. One of the cards is a boss's orders. The other card must also be pretty good. Maybe like a Nest Ball or like another boss's orders or something. I don't really know, but I'm sure it's a good card. Otherwise, I would have loved to have kept that Luminion. Looks like, oh, I see. I was considering getting the generator off the Arven. I opt to just get Nest Ball. Nest Ball gets me Miraidon, which guarantees me the bench Pokemon I need to take the knockout. I, of course, would have loved to have Nest Balled for like Fezandipiti, Mew EX, Latias EX, all these cards that kind of like give me a little more stability to Iono, but I just need to guarantee that I can get the max bench. So we Arven for another Nest Ball. Surely this one's going to get us like Fezandipiti, Mew EX, something. I hear you see the Bravery Charm. I'm like, oh, like I can Bravery Charm my guy, protect it from Dragapult. But we play one Bravery Charm. It has to be saved for the double Kyurem. We cannot lose to double Kyurem or else, winning in 3 attacks, 2/2/2 is no good when your opponent wins in 2. So, gonna save that Bravery Charm. Gonna attach the Force Sealstone to the Raichu. We don't have a lot of energies in play, so I felt like if Lucas knocked out our Raichu here, we would be like not super upset, right? We would have Fezandipiti, we would have the Raikou with 2 energies, so we're really just trying to create as many different threats as possible. So I do like attaching the Sealstone, and we get Ionoed, so definitely happy to have that in play. Now, from what I remember, I'm pretty sure Lucas draws like a pretty unplayable 6 cards here. He gets a Teal Dance, but he's ultimately going to whiff on the Regidrago V-Star this turn. And I don't even think he finds a way to retreat, so... Yeah, so he's also going to Vessel, just thin out as many energies as possible. Try to bail out. You see that Regidrago V-Star on the top of the deck. Of course, if he's able to get into the V-Star here, take a knockout, I think it's really important that he also knocks out the Magnemite here, right? If the Magnemite survives, I'm going to have a ton of energies by popping the Magneton. Yeah, and he's got nothing. He's got, oh my gosh, not even like a playable hand for next turn. He's just going to have to pass it over to us. This Raikou. It's going to take another free knockout on the Regidrago V, and at this point, I think the game is pretty much over, but we will watch it play out. I think now I'm just going to try and capitalize by setting up as many energies as possible on my board, diversifying my threats, so I think I'm going to Generator onto like anything but Raichu V. Maybe I put like 1 energy on the Raichu. No, looks like I'm just going to put 2 energies on the Miraidon. I think maybe I should have Night Stretchered like Arven for Night Stretcher to get back the Magneton. I think that might have been a good idea. Okay, looks like I just have the Night Stretcher in hand. Yeah, that's going to be great. That way, if we get like Ionoed here, we're threatening to pop this Magneton. Yeah, and I'm debating this Bravery Charm because now like I'm winning the prize race against the double Kyurem, but I just don't want to give him the option of pulling off some kind of weird double Kyurem comeback. So I just hold the Charm again. Maybe could have been attached, not sure. I also would have liked to see this Lightning Energy go on not Raichu, like literally anything but the Raichu. I think the Raichu is just like the most threatening Pokemon on the board by far, so definitely would have liked to see that energy go anywhere else. If it gets knocked out, we get Ionoed here. We could maybe somehow lose. We would lose our ability to knock out Regidrago V-Star, so maybe if Lucas was able to like knock out the Raichu, play an Iono. We whiff boss's orders, so we just have to like punch into the Regidrago, and then maybe he retreats from there into Radzard, takes another 2, and we whiff boss again, right? All of a sudden, there is a slippery slope where we're losing. So, let's see what Lucas is able to put together here. Yeah, from what I remember, it's not much. I think he whiffs Regidrago V-Star again. Yeah, he's just gonna get down the Radzard. No Iono, no gusting effects. And he just has to Radzard the Raikou, and we waste no time. Just promote the Miraidon, attach, boss, take the last 2. And Lucas has like a bajillion grass energies, all the tech cards in his deck. Just really nothing going on for him. And we go into the last round. We're 5-0. We're feeling pretty good until our opponent flips over a Cramorant, which we don't love to see. He also lets us know that he thinks this is a bad matchup, which gives me a little bit of faith, but I'm currently looking at a hand of, I think, triple Lightning Energy, double Boss's Orders, and something else that's like completely terrible. Maybe it's a Hisuian Heavy Ball, but I think it's actually like maybe like a Rescue Board or like I don't even know. It's a terrible card. So we're assuming we're kind of just going to get donked here by Lost Box, but he actually has like a decently weak turn. Start Cram, retreat into Comfy, bench another one, pass. So we're feeling a little bit of life in this game, and we top deck an Arven, which we're super hyped. We lock back in. We were already thinking about I don't know, packing up the recording equipment, going home, getting some rest. I don't know, whatever I was thinking about doing. But we top deck Arven, and now we definitely got to lock back in. Think about how we can win this game. Going to be secret boxing, discarding some of those energies and Boss's Orders. I do opt to thin out another Arven here. I don't think Arven is like a super good card past turn one. Usually you just want to like play Boss's Orders every turn of the game, and these Arvens can sometimes clog your hand in the late game. So I do like thinning these out. We're just going to Nest Ball for Miraidon. I don't really know why I don't go for the double Miraidon here. I imagine I prized the second Miraidon, or maybe I just made a mistake here. Of course, we have the Area 0 in hand, so if we didn't prize that second Miraidon, it should definitely full board, thin out our deck. Yeah, there's the Rescue Board. That was definitely the sixth card in the opening hand, and we just go ahead and Squawk and Seize here. We did have to Seal Stone for the Squawkabilly, which is very weak. Really, in order to win this matchup, you need to go triple Iron Hands. We have no way to deal with Pikachu EX, so I think putting this Lightning Energy on the Raikou is actually a huge mistake. I would have liked to see this Lightning Energy either go on the hands, and I just get super greedy and like try to hit a turn one amp, like just Luxac crazy off the Squawkabilly, or otherwise, I actually think this is a spot where potentially Motivate was a good idea. If we Motivate, we put two energies on the hands. Of course, if we get hit by like a Pikachu on our Squawk, or like a Hands or a Blood Moon on our Squawk, like the game is instantly over. But our opponent had a pretty weak turn one, right? Just getting one in the Lost Zone. So I would assume they're not going to attack. And I think this energy on this Raikou just like doesn't really do anything. And it's just never going to be a good attacker. Yeah, we end up retreating into the Raikou to draw a card. I imagine our hand is pretty weak here. And then we just pass off the turn. Now we're going to see a fairly strong turn here. We see the Chorus, we see the Comfy. Our opponent's definitely pumping up the Lost Zone. And they also bump our Area 0, which is very annoying. Just going to really lock us out of playing any of our support Pokemon onto the board. Mew EX, Pheasantipede, Latias EX, Iron Bundle, all these cards completely locked off. We have our secret boxes in the discard. We only play two Area 0, so it's going to be really difficult for us to actually find Area 0 and get up to the 8 bench. And our opponent knows this. He's actually going to make like a really good play. He's just going to Nest Ball here for the Blood Moon, I think, and then retreat into it. With the Area 0, I could max out my bench and one-shot this Blood Moon, which would actually put me in a really, really good spot in the game. But with only one Area 0 at my whole deck and no way to search it and no way to draw cards, it's going to be exceptionally unlikely that I actually find that. My only other option to take two prizes here would be like potentially Iron Bundle or Boss and knock out the bench with the Iron Hands. We can't bench the Latias, so we'd have to retreat the energy off our Raikou. Really just a fairly weak start. We're already down 2 Jennies. And we're going to need to make 3 Iron Hands in order to win this game, right? Because we're going to amp a Comfy here, and then we're going to get knocked out by Pikachu EX, and then we obviously can't knock out the Pikachu EX. No clone in our deck, so we're going to have to go around it, and there's no other 2 prizers, so we're going to have to be targeting like Comfey's Cram, Ninja with Iron Hands, and at this point, 5 Lightning Energy in the discard, 2 Generators in the discard. It's going to be very, very difficult for us to actually establish the energies we need to make this triple Iron Hands play, which I think is really what this matchup comes down to. We're going to get the Magneton here. We're going to take 2. I believe we have a Boss's Orders in our hand, but we also don't even have a second Iron Hands on our board. Just meaning like we can't even start pre-prepping the second hands, right? Like we did against Adam Kalamat in round 2. So we're just going to boss. We're going to knock out this Comfey. And, we had a weak start. Pretty much the plan here is that our opponent somehow does not knock out our Iron Hands, right? They're going to have to whiff. All they need is like Colress plus Mirage Gate. Like Colress plus Mirage Gate, and we're dead to. We could die to the Blood Moon with a Lost Vacuum. We could die to the Pikachu EX with another energy card. A lot of options, and they're all bad for us. And so when we see our opponent nest ball down the Pikachu EX, we are not loving life. We assume that our Iron Hands is dead, and we are really not going to have a good way to return this. Yeah, and that's exactly what we see. Mirage Gate gets the energy. Great sequencing too. Going to Pokestop after Mirage getting the energy. Don't want to Pokestop away those energies, of course. And then it looks like they actually don't have the Lightning Energy in hand. I think they're going to have to Super Rod and just Mirage Gate again. I guess they Comfey first, hopefully trying to find that Lightning Energy. Just going to bump that Pokestop, which is actually kind of annoying. My hand is pretty bad, and I would love the card draw here, but... yeah, we're just going to see this Super Rod and this second Mirage Gate. And our Iron Hands EX with 4 energies. Getting KO'd. We're feeling pretty rough here. I can't remember exactly what I was hoping to do here. I think my plan was... we find the 1 Area 0 here. We boss in the Blood Moon. We take 2 with the Raikou. And then on the last turn, we hopefully somehow set up another Iron Hands. So I think I might have the Boss's Orders in hand. I retreat into the Raikou, hoping to hit Area 0 off the 1 card. Of course, we don't get there, and we're just going to have to punch into this Pikachu for 190 damage. Pretty much a complete disaster. Like I've mentioned throughout the video, we really got to be taking 2 prize cards each turn, or we're not going to be able to win the game, right? Our opponent has, I don't even know what that is, like a 14-card hand. I'm sure there's tons of gas in there, Super Rods, Gates, Colrus's, whatever they need to close this out, and we can't really do anything about it, but just like hope that they somehow don't have it. We're going to see the Rod, and I believe this is going to be immediately followed up by, another Gate. Going to power up this Pikachu EX once again. And they're going to be going down to 2 prizes, knocking out our actually 1 prize because of the Magneton, and removing all of our energies from play. Even if we knock out this Pikachu EX, the Blood Moon is on the bench. It's got an energy on it too, so we're probably just going to get knocked out by that Blood Moon if we go down to 2 prizes. Yeah, and you can see I'm just kind of sitting here trying to think if there's any way I could possibly win. I know I can't kill this Pikachu EX. There's also no reason to scoop, right? We're playing a best of 1, no time implications, so I'm just going to sit here, maybe try and think of some like ridiculous sequence of cards that could somehow come together for me to stay in the game here. I think I determined that, again, if I can restart for 1 into Area 0 and then somehow get my Raikou back out. But I actually think it was basically impossible here. I don't even know if I have anything to Ultra Ball here. I'm essentially just going to draw out the inevitable. Eventually, I just end up bossing in this Blood Moon, and I think I get an Arm Press off on it. The idea being that if I Arm Press the Blood Moon and I somehow... don't lose the game, then maybe I can like kill the Blood Moon. I don't know, really just grasping at straws here, hoping maybe my opponent just like fumbles the game somehow, draws an extra card, gets a DPL. Those are the win conditions we're playing for at this point. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead, arm press the Blood Moon. At this point, we are down all 4 of our Boss's Orders, our Countercatcher, and our Iron Bundle, so no Gust left in the deck. So when our opponent switch carts that Blood Moon to the bench, we know we're cooked. No way to bring it back in. Eventually, that Blood Moon is just going to come in and take the last prize card. So we scoop it up, and we end up going 5-1 in this league challenge with Landon Caitler's Miraidon deck. I felt really good about the deck all day. I felt like it set up very well. I mean, obviously, this last game didn't set up too well. The matchup was not great, but I think if you Sunrun your Jennies, you can win pretty much any matchup, even the bad ones, even like Charizard and stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something. And I'll see you guys in the next one.